Today we're going to be talking about resale versus new construction. Which one do you prefer? Which one do you think is best for you? Hey everyone, my name is Carlos Cruz and I am a broker associate at Austin 101 Realty. Thank you for liking our channel. Make sure that you subscribe and share if you find this useful. In this channel, we talk about all things real estate related. So please make sure to follow our videos. Please keep in mind that if you're contemplating the idea of getting into a brand new home from the builder, please consider these next points. I believe some of these are really good advantages of working with a builder. So the first point would be it's highly recommended to actually set up an appointment ahead of time. Make sure that you work with a realtor that will schedule an appointment with a salesperson at the builder, and that way they have the time dedicated for you and there's not that many interruptions when other walk-ins are coming into the sales office. So on a resale, you just schedule the showing. If it's a vacant home, you just go and show the home. So what will happen is that you're walking into the office and they're going to show you many different floor plans. They're going to ask you a few questions about what you're looking for, what your timeline is. Please do keep in mind that a lot of the builders are not doing the custom homes built anymore. A lot of them during the pandemic, they did move away from doing that. So they're not really letting you choose the materials, the flooring, the paint. Most of them are selling inventory homes, at least the lower price. They really don't give you a lot of flexibility as far as choosing. Where on a resale, it's basically the same thing, right? You're buying a resale home, you're buying a used home, you don't get to choose anything. So the builder will give you two different options. Are you looking for an inventory home, which means a home that is ready, or are you building from the ground up? If you have a longer time frame, that could be a good option for you. But you're looking to move into within the next month or 2 months, then maybe looking at an inventory home would be the best choice. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you go visit these homes and these builders, a lot of these inventory homes, they're probably not gonna be 100% complete. So we're gonna be trying to find you a similar floor plan, but maybe from a house that currently sold to somebody else. So most of the times you cannot buy that actual house because that's already been sold to somebody else, but the one that you can buy is in the construction phase. Maybe, you don't see it completely finished, but then you can see a sample with. Right now, builders are satisfying a lot of the demand for buyers. We're seeing an increase, release inventory from the builders. The good thing about this is that since they have so much inventory that they have to offload, they're actually reducing the prices a lot. Now, what are some of the big advantages of brand new construction? Well, for one, you get to walk the home and you get to do a third-party inspections as well. Well, many things could be done incorrectly during the build process, and that's what the inspector is going to help you. You get the opportunity to do that, and then you get the opportunity to do a buyer walkthrough of the home as well. And this is your time to actually find all the imperfections of the home, actually walk, with your realtor, you walk through the home, and sometimes they have this blue tape and green tape, and you start cutting pieces of the tape and just putting it around the home. The home has to be perfect, 100% perfect for you. Another really great advantage of buying a new construction home is all the warranties that come, with the builder, from the builder. Builders offer what is called a 1-2-10 or a 1-3-10, and what that means is they cover the whole home front to back for 1 year. So anything that goes wrong with the home during that year, you can just reach back to the builder and tell them that something is wrong with the home, right? And they should be sending somebody to correct the problem. I highly recommend you always send an inspector at the 11-month period, because before the 1 year anniversary, you wanna make sure that the house is still 100% perfect. And then they have typically a 2-year or a 3-year for mechanicals. And then most of the builders have like a 10-year, warranty. And a 10-year warranty basically will cover all the structural issues with the home, basically the foundation, the framing. So those are benefits of buying a new construction. Of course, nobody else has lived in the property, brand new, still smells good, and it does come with all these warranties, 1, 3, or 10-year warranties. Right now, most of the builders, since they have so much inventory and it's really costing them money just to have all this inventory sitting there on the market, they're really pushing with incentives to the buyers, okay? According to different builders, right, they do provide different incentives. These incentives, they give you, they pay for the closing cost a lot of the times, so they give you credit for closing. They reduce the interest rate. It's just so many incentives that outside lenders is very hard to compete against these incentives, okay? I mean, these are things that you're not seeing with buying a resale home or when you're basically using an outside lender. One of the pros also is that when you're buying an inventory home, it's gonna be typically, your chances and opportunity to actually negotiate on the price and be able to receive all these incentives is way better than trying to build from the ground up. Lastly, basically, I mean, another of the pro and benefits of working with a new construction is that, like I said, they do provide a lot of incentives, and you can buy down the rate, and you can use some of the money for closing costs. But then on top of that, builders are actually paying for the title policy. Now let's talk about what are some of the inconveniences, I guess, or some of the disadvantages of working with a builder. Now keep in mind, these are areas, you know, builders are building, you know, towards the outside of Austin, right? Where you find most of these builders are gonna be farther from the center of the city. If that's something that you're interested on, you know, getting into a new home, be more flexible on the location, because that's gonna push you a little bit farther out of town. Another of the disadvantages is that now builders are trying to fit as many homes as possible, basically in the plotted land that they purchase, right, from the developer. So the lots are typically gonna be smaller. And one of the biggest disadvantages, in my opinion, as well, you know, with working with a builder, is basically that they're not very flexible on the closing date. It's very hard to time selling your home and getting into the new home with these builders, because there's not a set closing date. They have a tentative closing date, but it often changes. The home is complete, they want you to close as soon as possible. So the longer that it sits on the market, it's more money for the builder to spend, and that's why they're going back to the buyer saying, okay, that's fine, we can extend the closing, but you're gonna pay fees for that. All right, so finally, just make sure that you work with a realtor that's familiar with the process when dealing with these new constructions, with dealing with the builders, and with, you know, with the process. For instance, I do have my RCC certification. The RCC certification basically stands for Residential Construction Certification. So again, make sure that you work with a realtor that's familiar with this process and can help you best find the best home. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.